Prime Minister Abiy, thank you for taking my call. We need to speak about the rising tensions around Assab. Mr. President, I've completed the call with Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. It went as expected.
Mark, every time someone says as expected, it's always bad news. What did baby Nobel Prize do now?
This is not how it was supposed to go. The Western powers said they understood the need for sea access. They gave me words, support, diplomacy, partnership. Now that the situation escalated, nothing. Silence. They left me hanging.
Prime Minister's support doesn't vanish overnight. These matters require patience.
Patience, Mike. Why the sudden talk of peace with Eritrea? Last month you stood firm on your maritime strategy. Now you sound uncertain. It's not uncertainty, it's calling out. The international community is not accepting my argument that Ethiopia's population size entitles to Assab.
Prime Minister Abiy, thank you for taking my call. We need to speak about the rising tensions around Assab.
Of course, Mr. Secretary. Ethiopia has legitimate concerns and aspirations.
The U.S. supports Ethiopia pursuing peaceful, legal, diplomatically negotiated access, not military attempts.
We are not invading anyone. Ethiopia needs sea access. The world should understand that.
Let me be direct. Assab is internationally recognized as Eritrean territory. The United States cannot support any military attempt to force access to that port. Sea access must be pursued peacefully. No mobilizations, no pressure, no cross-border signaling. Any escalation will destabilize the region and isolate Ethiopia. There is another issue, Prime Minister, the GERD. Ethiopia must stop using it as an intimidation tool against Egypt or any regional ally.
We are not intimidating anyone. The GERD is our right.
Development, yes. Threats, no. Statements implying control over Nile flow or strategic superiority are unacceptable. Here is what Washington expects. 1, immediate de-escalation around Assab. 2, a public commitment to peaceful negotiations. 3, no more military or proxy activities. 4, diplomatic engagement with neighbors. If Ethiopia chooses peace, the U.S. will support long-term solution.
Fine. We will review our posture and adjust accordingly per your instructions.
Peace, de-escalation, no GERD pressure, always lecturing me.
Always telling me what to do. Always blocking Ethiopia. Always talking about peace when I need action. Assab, why won't they understand? Why won't anyone support me? Everyone! Eritrea blocks me, Egypt complains, America lectures me, even the sea is against Ethiopia.
Mr. President, I've completed the call with Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. It went as expected.
Mark, every time someone says as expected, it's always bad news. What did baby Nobel Prize do now?
Well, sir, he insisted everything is peaceful while he's simultaneously threatening Eritrea, provoking neighbors, and igniting new tribal conflicts at home.
Nobel Peace Prize, Mark. A peace prize. And he's out there starting wars like it's a weekend hobby. I end wars, he starts them. Total opposite.
Sir, he also mentioned something about Assab belonging to Ethiopia, which is completely wrong.
Next he'll say the Red Sea belongs to him because he took a swim in it. What a disaster. What a warmonger. Should ask for their medal back and give him a chaos trophy. Much more fitting. They got scammed by this man.
He's destabilizing the Horn of Africa, sir. Eritrea, Sudan, Somalia, everyone is on alert because of his ambitions.
He's turning the whole region into a fire pit. You know what the Nobel Committee should do? Strip his medal. Right now. Take it away. You'll get a peace prize when you're out there acting like a cartoon villain. Warmongering. Instigating. Stirring tribal fire. No more Nobel nonsense. If he wants to pretend he's a peacemaker, he should try making just one actual peace. Start with his own country.
Anything else, Mark? I also warned him not to use GERD as an intimidation tool against allies like Egypt.
GERD isn't a toy. Stop poking Egypt. Stop poking Eritrea. He's like a kid with a stick causing problems and crying when he gets in trouble. Mark, we may be sanctioning the wrong country when it comes to Eritrea. We may need to take a look at that. It's worse, way worse, especially with that baby Nobel Prize on the helm. A peace prize winner starting wars everywhere. Total disaster. We need to address this situation with Ethiopia immediately.
Agreed.
Abiy is acting reckless within his country and neighbors. We've discussed the Ethiopia call thoroughly.
So the next step, sir?
We push diplomacy, we stabilize the region, and Abiy will to stop acting like he's auditioning for world's worst neighbor. Mark, if he calls again asking for sea access, tell him to buy a boat and use it in GERD with Egypt's permission. This call was perfect, believe me. No issues here. Great job, Mark and team.
This is not how it was supposed to go. The Western powers said they understood the need for sea access. They gave me words, support, diplomacy, partnership. Now that the situation escalated, nothing. Silence. They left me hanging.
Prime Minister's support doesn't vanish overnight. These matters require patience.
Patience, my ass. Every neighbor is distancing themselves. Even the US keeps repeating the same line. Peaceful sea access. They won't go beyond that.
You knew the Red Sea is the most sensitive geopolitical corridor in the world.
Listen, Eritrea reacted exactly as expected. Unified, disciplined, steadfast.
Their sovereignty is not something they negotiate away. You pushed the timeline too early.
I had no choice. Internal pressure is suffocating. Economy collapsing. Provinces defiant. Elites questioning my authority. I needed a win. A national rallying point. Assab was the only card left.
Eritrea is not intimidated. They are organized, motivated, and have historical memory guiding their response. They fought worse with less. If you miscalculate again, you risk a prolonged confrontation that Ethiopia cannot sustain economically or militarily.
So what do I do? The West won't back me. Region is against me. Eritrea is holding the line. And my own people are losing patience.
No more inflammatory speeches about returning ports. No more promises you cannot deliver.
Step 1. De-escalate publicly. Frame it as miscommunication or regional misunderstanding.
Step 2. Rebuild internal stability. No one supports a leader who is vulnerable at home.
Step 3. Align with allies who want influence in the Bab el-Mandeb corridor. Some are not ready to show their hands yet.
Eritrea handled this better than anyone expected. They exposed the limits of my leverage and the limits of my allies.
Eritrea understands sovereignty at a level few nations do. Do not underestimate them again.
Then Assab becomes a long-term dream again.
Dreams require strategy, not impulse. Stay the course quietly. We will advise you, but for now, step back before you step down. Not today, Prime Minister.
Why the sudden talk of peace with Eritrea? Last month you stood firm on your maritime strategy. Now you sound uncertain. It's not uncertainty, it's calling out. The international community is not accepting my argument that Ethiopia's population size entitles to Assab. Pushback is normal. Great projects always face resistance. You can't abandon your pursuit of Assab because a few diplomats don't like the framing. It's more than diplomats. They're questioning every narrative. Population pressure, economic necessity. Even our claim Eritrea is helping rebels, they're saying it's unverified, it's weakening my hand.
Is exactly why you should stay the course. Don't shift messaging now. Your maritime ambition is legitimate. Ethiopia's future depends on it.
But there's growing frustration. They say I'm provoking instability.
They see Eritrea as calm and consistent while accusing me of stirring tension. It's turning the spotlight onto us.
Hesitation now looks like weakness. Peace talks can be tactical, yes, but do not abandon your Red Sea agenda. You lose leverage. I'm trying to balance it. If I push too hard, they say I'm threatening Eritrea. If I soften, they say I'm backtracking.
Eritrea's neutrality in the region is earning them sympathy. Ethiopia is losing the narrative.
Then craft a smarter narrative. Don't retreat from the Assab question. Reframe it. Economic necessity, regional integration, and mutual benefit.
Buy yourself more time. Stop relying on the population argument or rebel supports. They don't sell well internationally and are hard to prove.
I hear you. So you're advising I keep the quest alive quietly while presenting myself as pursuing peace?
Exactly. Continue the strategy. Refine the rhetoric. Stay committed. Peace talks are optics. The maritime's objective is the long game. We support stability, but stability on your terms, not Eritrea's.
I just need the world to stop seeing Eritrea as the calm side and Ethiopia as the aggressor.
And act strategically, not reactively. But remember, abandon the maritime goal now and you will never revive it.
I hear you, but the world is against me. My military is non-existent. If I push too hard and Isaias reacts, I am done. I am lost right now.
What the start of today is this day. I am 1,000,000% sure that Ethiopia will have sovereign sea access, whether our neighbor likes it or not.
I can unequivocally reaffirm that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Eritrea are non-negotiable. Even though I don't usually respond to his delusional statements, I will respond to his idiotic statements out of respect to this debate. Shoot. Red Sea coastlines, including the ports of Massawa and Assab, is an integral part of Eritrea's sovereign territory. Eritrea's independence is recognized internationally under international, including UN Security Council Resolution 751 and the Algiers Agreement. May I ask this illiterate buffoon of his statement who I'm getting sovereign sea access without details on how, where, and when? Can you enlighten me on that?
We will ask our neighbors peacefully through exchanges of assets from Ethiopia. If not, we will resort to any means necessary.
My country is your neighbor, and there is nothing we need from you. What now? Are you declaring war now against all of your neighbors, including Eritrea, if you do not get your way in front of the international audience?
He is killing me.
We stand ready for constructive engagement to work with Ethiopia to get legal trade sea access. We are ready to work with Ethiopia to sign a commercial lease agreement, as we have said plenty of times before in meetings and negotiations, if he is ready for. In any other ways, we will defend our territorial integrity by all necessary means, including removing this clown from power. Any assertion of sovereign access implying territorial control, militarization on Eritrean jurisdiction, crosses a red line. We urge the international community, including the African Union and the United Nations, to look at this colonial mentality before it is too late.